Okay, last exam 6 review problem, number 4. There's 120 teachers in the school and their ages are represented by the cumulative frequency graph below. And remember, on a cumulative frequency graph you have your data, which in this case is the age, on the x-axis, and then you have the frequency, or like the person, on the y-axis. And so there's 120 teachers in the school, so basically you've got person number 1 all the way to person 120. And they're mapped out here. Okay, so like if you ever want to know the height of a certain person, let's say, what about teacher number 80? What's his height? Well, you go to 80, and that crosses here, and then you go down. Well, teacher number 80 is, oh, I'm sorry, not his height, his age. He's 50 years old. Okay, all right. So write down the median age. Well, in 120 teachers, the median teacher would be like around 60, right? Using the formula, you would do n plus 1 divided by 2, right? But when you have big numbers, it doesn't really matter so much. When you're using a cumulative frequency graph, it doesn't matter so much either because it's not that accurate. So you could either look up 60.5, which would be 121 divided by 2, or you could just look up 60. Okay, so let's just look up 60. 60 corresponds to an age of 45, so the median age would be 45 years old. Find the interquartile range for the ages. Well, to find the interquartile range, remember that we need the Q3 minus the Q1. So the Q3 you would find by looking up, let's see, Q3, remember that the Q3 would be, so it would be 121 plus 1 times 0.75, or you would do 121 plus 1 times 3/4, right? You would basically find 75% of 120. Okay, so like for example, the median of 120 would be halfway in between. Halfway between the 60 and the 120, you would have 90, right? So 121, not 121 plus 1. 121 times 0.75 is basically 90. Okay, so take 90, intersects the curve here, go down, it hits the age axis at about 52.5, maybe 53, so I'll put 53. Now to find Q1, Q1 is just going to be the number that's halfway in between person 1 and person 60, person 30. Okay, you know, if you were going to use the formula, it would be 121 times 0.25, and that would give you a little bit more than 30, but pretty much 30. Maybe it would be like 30.25 or something. Okay, so person 30 crosses the graph here, goes down, 37. Okay, so the 75th percentile person, or the 90th person, minus the 30th person would be 53 minus 37, which would be 16. Okay, so the IQR is 16. Given that the youngest teacher is 21 and the oldest is 72, represent the information on box and whiskers plot using the scale below. Okay, now this is the thing about box and whiskers plots that's a little bit strange, is that whenever they ask you to do a box and whiskers plot in IB Math Studies, they're going to give you the exact value for the min, which would be 21, and the max, which is 72. And you can't get this information from the cumulative frequency graph because the cumulative frequency graph groups things, you know, let's say that they group by 5. So they don't know exactly where the min is. They just know that the min is between 20 and 25, but they don't know exactly what that would be. And the max too. They don't know exactly where the max is. It's between 70 and 75. And so they give you the information that actually the max is at 72. And actually the min is at 21. So you can see that the graph kind of starts before that. The graph kind of ends after that. But that's just because, the graph kind of ends after 72. But that's just the way cumulative frequency graphs are. They're not that accurate. They just, you know, graph points every 5 years, for example, and so the rest of it's just extrapolated, or, you know, they just draw a smooth curve through those points. So when they do the box and whiskers, they give you this extra data. So the min is 21 and the max is 72. That should make it really easy to do the min and the max, because you don't even have to look at the cumulative frequency graph. Now the rest you're going to have to look at the cumulative frequency graph, which we've already done, right? So like the median is the middle of the box and whiskers. The median we already know is 45, right? Q1 and Q3 we needed to look up to figure out the IQR. So the Q3 is 53, the Q1 is 37, 37 here, 53 here, okay? and then you just draw this square in the middle, a box in the middle, and then you draw the whiskers to the sides. Okay? Alright, and that was problem 4.